Well, welcome back everyone to Riverbend Discovery Center. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful day so far. If you guys are new here, welcome. You guys picked the perfect video. We have a little bit of an overview tour today. Nothing too crazy, nothing new. I just want to say that before we get started. Just some nice good old Riverbend looking overs. I don't really know. I don't really know how to start videos. But anyways, welcome to Riverbend. This is our entire zoo so far. It's nothing crazy. So the whole idea behind Riverbend was with this habitat right here. This is the first habitat that we built in here. This was the lynx habitat. And I really just want to have a nice, clean zoo. Nothing too crazy, nothing fancy, just like good old classic zoo-ness. This would be a relatively newer zoo, probably built around the 80s, maybe the 90s, and they've had not too much time to work on things, but all the stuff that they do have is relatively nice and modern. One of my favorite things in Riverbend is the entire Primate Islands collection. This normally would be filled with a whole bunch of monkeys and primates, but unfortunately I did have to uninstall some of those mods, whether they be for updates or for just cleaning my folder. Unfortunately, they are not in here. We used to have like colobus, we used to have vervet monkeys over here, howler monkeys, saki monkeys, all different kinds. The ones that we do have in here, however, are our lemurs, and we could find them right over here. Our ringtails have this entire island for themselves. We also have our black and white ruffed, which have this entire island. The whole idea is, like, they all have their own individual islands. This was very much based off of Naples Zoo and their Primate Islands edition, so this is all what they have over here. You guys may notice that there are some that connect to other islands. That's just so keepers can actually go onto those islands and clean up after the monkeys and primates and whatever. For example, this would be the colobus monkey, and say the keepers need to actually get over to this island to clean up, they would simply move this rope over here and chain it up back over there, so the monkeys don't really get over there. You may notice I also have reeds in here. That's just because the monkeys can swim that are based off of the proboscis monkey, so we just make sure to prevent against that. But yeah, we also had some, I believe, leaf monkeys over here. I could be entirely wrong. I think they were langurs, actually, so we had some langurs. I do apologize, that is quite a little dead, but I'm very happy with how well this all came out. Once we actually do get this out on the workshop for you guys, hopefully you guys can add in those monkeys. By the way, there will be a link to this in the workshop down below, so definitely go check that out whenever you guys do get the chance. I will say this does not have any scenery mods, but I do have some comfort mods in here, just as a way to help us build a lot better. For example, we do have the Planet Zoo Plus edition, which takes away the actual boat tracks, so do keep that in mind. But you guys can download this even if you don't use any mods and still get the full experience. So moving on through here, we have a lot of other awesome things to check out. While unfortunately the whole loading area is under construction, there's still a lot of other stuff that has been completed. For example, the tortoise habitat. While I don't actually have the sulcatas in right here, they would typically be populating this entire area. They love this habitat so much. I even did some custom enrichment for them with the PVC pipes. That was pretty fun to make. And it's just a relatively nice habitat. I really do like their shelter over here. Normally they don't really like the shade, but sometimes we just got to give it to them nonetheless. They are cold-blooded, so they do like to spend their time under hotter areas. That's why we do have these heater lamps. You can kind of see the heaters right under there, so they could probably plop themselves under there if it does get a little bit cold. But that was the whole idea for over there. Now moving on through here, we also have some backstage as well. Nothing crazy. In fact, I did forget to actually update this. Again, this is another mod in here. This is the path replacement pack that I currently have out right now. I have the curb on ground path. I love the curb and the fences of the aquatic path. So do so many other builders, but no one actually likes the actual like texture of the aquatic path. So I do have a standalone mod that will replace that for all of you guys, so definitely go check that out. We have a pretzel stand by my good buddy Beezy. He did a wonderful job on that using the new update items with like the counters. And we have our first view into our big savanna habitat. This would probably be the biggest habitat in Riverbend. I'm hoping to close off Riverbend relatively soon. So if you guys are new to the series, you don't have that much left. We also do have a little bit of a overturned wheelbarrow right there, so don't mind that. Over here we actually do have the starting of our North America section. You guys can notice I don't necessarily finish full sections at a time. I build for whatever I'm interested in at the time. And this is our North American porcupine habitat. Unfortunately, the porcupine is a little bugged right now. Frazzle is still trying to figure out what is wrong with it. It's just such a cursed mod, but I definitely do recommend you try it out for yourselves. Maybe it will work, maybe it won't, but we don't really know. But North American porcupines do like to climb, and I thought I'd give them a little bit more of a unique habitat. You guys can notice we do have some climb-proof barriers up there, which does allow them to climb up, but doesn't allow them to escape, more or less. I do love the style of this habitat. It feels so cool. I don't know, I just like how it kind of towers over the landscape. And we do have a little bit of staff access right over here, so if they do need to get into the habitat, they have the airlock system right here so they can kind of reach themselves into here and make sure that the porcupine doesn't escape in the process. But we have a lot of other awesome things in here. I think we will start off by going to our right. We start to get our beautiful glimpses into the lesser flamingo habitat. The lesser flamingo was made by Jen, and it's easily one of my favorite animals. I think this is my second habitat that I actually built in here, and it's probably one of my favorites. We use a periwinkle for duckweed, and I think it comes out extremely well, especially how it kind of drapes down into the water. And we do combine that with like the moss as well as the new decals, just to give that a little bit of a overgrown kind of look. We do have leaders sail right over here, and we colored it pink to match our little flamingo boys. Check them out. I love them so much. We also do have their little bit of feeding enrichment over here. The keepers can access it through this little bump up in the little habitat right over there, so that's awesome as well. And there's their little keeper access right back there. Moving on through here, this is where you start to see some stuff come out. That's the start of our reptile building, but we'll look at that in just a little bit. I gotta thank Ricey for that sign back there. It's always so amazing to have her stuff. And I also have to thank Lion for these as well. This is his modular signs. They come out so well for projects like this, and I'm so happy that we have them in here. But this is our capybara habitat. I had to get capybaras. Everyone has capybaras. But look how happy they are. They have this little bit of a habitat. They like to, you know, nice and relaxing. And they do have a lot of water, so they are a semi-aquatic species. Capybaras are known for how well they can swim and how much they like to relax. And they do like to relax in this little pool right here. It is a little dirty with those decals, but I hope they don't really mind it all that much. They don't seem to mind it at all. But we do have a lot of other stuff to check out. Forgive a little bit of a lag spike. My computer really isn't the best. Hopefully we can upgrade it soon. But we do have our Wallaby walkabout right over there. But we're going to pop over here to our Reptile House. Again, a huge thank you to Ricey for this beautiful font. I believe this is a cashmere font that she created, and it's so useful, especially for something that feels kind of semi-tropical, like a reptile house. I really do love the exterior over here. This was all custom by me. I really do love like that kind of brick kind of look. It feels so clean, but once you actually pop in here, it's nothing crazy. If you guys were around for Sugar Pine Zoo, I'm kind of taking some pointers from that zoo for this one. You guys may notice there is a little bit of graphical issues when it comes to some pieces, and that's just because I have so much in one area. But hopefully when I do upgrade my PC, we won't be able to get any of that anymore. And even though it is a reptile house, I do have the bullfrogs in here. I don't think I can see them just yet, though. There's one of them. Look at him. He's so happy. But I did want to get the bullfrogs front and center because they are so cool, and I do love their habitat. Moving on through here, I have a little bit of signage kind of explaining the difference between, like, you know, different kinds of frogs, it could be implied. And I also do have our Asian water monitor habitat. It's nothing crazy, but we'll get there in a little bit. I do have a couple fish tanks. They would just demonstrate some, like, freshwater life from the local area or something like that. This one kind of has like some cichlids in here and zebra danios. These are located on a drive. I believe they're on the Planet Zoo Discord server. I believe I put them in there and they should be pinned, so definitely go check those out if you guys do want them. And I do have a little bit of, like, you know, 3 dimensions going on over here, so I have a little bit of gravel right there. It looks pretty good in the end. I should probably turn off the lights in there, just as a way to kind of show it off a lot better, how it's meant to be viewed, rather. We do have a bunch of lighting on the ground over here. You would see lighting on the ground in these kinds of areas, and I do love these sconces so much. They're so beautiful. But I do have the Asian water monitor habitat. These guys are so cool. These guys are found in Asia, obviously, and I gave them quite a sizable habitat. I know Zoof's, like, kind of talked about the white rocks in here. I kind of do like the white rocks specifically because we do use a lot of browner rocks outside. Obviously you can't really see it, but you'll see it over there. But I did want to differentiate between the outside and the inside, so I did want to have some nice, cleaner, whiter rocks. And I think it honestly works very well for this kind of habitat. It really brightens it up. But I do have this little bit of enrichment. Hopefully we get to see him swim. But I do have some eggs for them to eat over there. That's usually like a nice little tasty treat for these guys. And look at him go. He's just chilling right over there. And yeah, we can actually see them swimming over here. This is actually pretty nice. I think I'm actually going to try and get a screenshot over here because this just makes me so happy. I don't know, I'm just very excited to see these guys finally make use of their habitat. I'll get the screenshot later, it's fine. But moving on through here, it kind of comes out abruptly. But we do have another viewing over here with the heat lamp right there. So the red lamps are usually what you would indicate heating lamps and stuff like that. So he's just chilling right under that. The Asian water monitor is made by Nicholas Lionrider. You guys may have heard of him. And I do need to thank Eben for these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful little planters as well. I always love using the mahogany ones. They always come out so well. I do have a little bit of a house over here. Maybe it would be implied that you could talk about, like, you know, just backyard gardening and stuff like that. It's just all very small, very minute details I like to include in these small little reptile houses. But now that we're done with that, I will actually turn the lights back on. And in fact, I will make it a little bit more cloudy because the sun is a little bit harsh on my poor little eyes. Moving on through here, we do have our Wallaby walkabout. I was very proud of this. Again, thank you to Lion for that sign right there. Came out so well. But we do have a little bit of a airlock system, so you pop yourself right through there. And we have all of our Wallabies. And they do have a little bit of backstage access right there. It's still unfinished, so I do apologize on that. But that is probably where they'd go after hours, or if some are feeling kind of sick. But these are our Bennett's Wallabies, made by me. I'm just very proud of these guys. But yeah, they just enjoy their nice little habitat so much. We have one albino back there just sleeping. But yeah, I'm so proud of this habitat in particular, because if you do notice on the ground, we did combine that moss alongside the mulch pathway, and it gives it such a beautiful kind of like trotting through effect that I feel like works exceptionally well for like walkthrough areas like that. And we even have a little bit of a sign for them. I know that's a kangaroo, but still, I think it works pretty well. And we do have some various signage as well from Lion as well. It just turns out pretty good in the end. We have that little bird feeder from Goron. And yes, that's pretty much it. Over here we have another view into our capybara habitat. You guys can see them kind of making their way through here. I'll turn off that light so the glare goes away. And that one's just taking a little bit of a dip right now. And we also have this little bit of a mural wall. Nothing too crazy. I'll show you guys how I did this. This was honestly one of my favorite little details in here. It's just nothing crazy. I did use the one-way glass panel as a way to make it feel a little bit more dilapidated. So I just changed the color to green and I put it right over there. I think it came out pretty well in the end. And I added a bunch of decals, because that was when we first got them, to make it feel like it was a little bit more chipped away by the elements. And we also have our Brolga exhibit over here. Brolgas are not really that common in zoos, but I'm really happy I was able to get these in here. They were probably one of Bongo's first cranes that he released, and they're still one of my favorites. They're so beautiful, and the quality on these guys is amazing. But yeah, their habitat is nothing crazy. I have these little bump up planters just as a way to bring it a little bit more life into these habitats, as a way to get some more plants and stuff. So we have some cypress trees right over there, and they even have a little bit of a pond to like forage around for their food in. I also have these what do you call these, hoses? And we'll actually get to who made all those blueprints in just a little bit, but that's the entire Brolga habitat. It's nothing crazy, but it's still a pretty nice habitat. I'm very much a fan of how well I kind of made those fences as well, the ones with bamboo. It's a very cheap, but very nice. And look at them, they're taking a nice little sip of water. I'm happy for those guys. But that's our binturong habitat. We'll get to that in just a little bit. We have a little bit of staff access back here as well, so you pop right through here, and you have access to the roof and the habitats as well, and you get a pretty nice view over here. Maybe like you're a staff working here and you get a nice little lunch break. You could probably pop up here and watch the Brolgas from a little bit of a better view. But we also have some trash over here. Gotta thank Crocs for these beautiful trash bags. And I do forget who actually made these ones as well, but we'll actually see that right now. Because right over here, we have all of our blueprints, and I'll just go through all of them. And you guys can look these guys up on the workshop. They're exceptionally amazing builders. And they put out all these wonderful blueprints on the workshop for you guys to all use, especially Beezy. Joshua Outlaw made a bunch of useful ones, Zoov. These are all wonderful builders, and they must not go unappreciated because they did do so much because of like all the blueprints, wow, that they have made. Wyatt Andrews, we got MG Uchiha, we got Caesar Creates, sorry guys, Lion Domez, Goron, Ricey, so many wonderful people. Leader, we got Toads, Forge, and I think Kazar. Yes. So that's essentially all I have right now. I'll be updating that the more I use. But here's our first habitat that we've ever built in here. This is Eurasian Lynx. I made this in early access when we did get that for the European DLC. So it's been quite some time since we actually did build this. I'm so happy with how well it came out. It's such a nice blueprint. I don't know, it was just so fun just to pop in and kind of make this. And even the climbing structures in here, well, I guess I'm kind of climbing through the structure. But the climbing structures for the Lynx came out exceptionally well as well. And they're such beautiful creatures. I never really do appreciate these guys for as much as I use them, but they're so beautiful. And I'm so happy that Frontier made the choice to include these guys. They're so cute. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that habitat. Nothing crazy, it's one of our first ones, but they do have some backstage access right there. But we're starting to get into some much more fun stuff over here. So this is a grand view into the savanna habitat. This is the main one. Right now we currently have pronghorn, we currently have common ostrich as well, and we have a bunch of beautiful sightlines in here. I have to thank so many people who have made like these beautiful climbing structures. I believe it was, I think it was Beezy who made these ones, like the big log ones, and like the animals love to go under that. You could probably imply that the ostrich would like to scratch themselves on that, and the pronghorn as well. And it's just a really awesome habitat. And you get some nice views into what came last. But over here, it's just such a nice habitat, and I love how lush it feels back there as well. I think you can even get some nice views into the primate exhibits back there, and I think that's pretty neat as well. I just really do love this habitat. It's so simple, but it's so beautiful, and I love the trellis over here. I think that came out exceptionally well as well. It gives you such nice shadows too. So moving on through here, we have another bit of roof access. You can kind of see a lot from this point. You can even get a good vantage point of the savanna itself. Obviously, guests aren't really allowed to come up here, but you do get some nice views through there. And you can even get a really killer view into the lynx habitat as well. Over here, you don't really get that much, though. It's kind of covered by trees, but that doesn't really matter because we're looking down here right now. This is our Ecuadorian squirrel monkey habitat. I have to thank Beezy for all these beautiful climbing frames and climbing enrichment for these guys. It was just a really fun challenge to get this habitat to work, especially with two primates adjacent to each other. And we also have the tufted capuchins in here. Probably my favorite mod I've ever made. I am so happy with how well these guys came out. I'm so happy that they're also in their boxes too. That's a wonderful thing to have. So let me just unbox all these guys. And we could actually see these guys kind of climbing around their habitat. They came out so well. Unfortunately, they do kind of like launch themselves back there sometimes, but it's totally fine. Look at these guys. Oh my gosh. But yeah, we should probably talk about the habitat. I really want to have this kind of like a riverbed kind of looking thing. A little bit of a canyon, if you will. For these guys. Especially, I want to make sure that the guests don't really come too close with these, so I do have this little bit of a double barrier system right here. Unfortunately, at Southwicks, you are able to touch the monkeys, which really isn't advisable, but I really want to make sure we don't have any of that going on over here. And I have to thank Zoo for those mud walls as well. They came out so well. But I really do love that habitat. But we have so much other things to look at. This is a nice little simple area right here. Nothing crazy. You guys saw this with the honey badger habitat video. But in case if you guys didn't actually see the honey badger habitat, here it is right over here. They don't really have that much, but they don't really require that much. They have a nice little burrow right there, and I think we might be able to actually see them in the burrow. I'm going the complete opposite way. But we could simply plop ourselves in here and see our honey badgers kind of chilling in their little burrow. They came out so well. The honey badger is made by Jen. She did such a wonderful job at it. And hopefully we could actually see them coming out of the burrow right now. I think our little friend was coming out, but they have a nice little habitat. They are able to climb, so I do have some climb-proof frames up here, so they aren't able to escape. But that's pretty much it for their habitat. Again, like the trail lines, that's always important to keep in mind when you do build some realism builds. And just make sure to go over it with some soil as well. Helps it have a nice look in the end. Popping down over here, and I do have a bunch of termite mounds as well as a little bit of education. I really do want to get a little bit more comfortable with some light theming as well, so I do have that over here, and we do have empty habitats for something else. If you guys have any idea of what to include over here, definitely do let me know. I'm still playing around with some ideas, but hopefully we can get something in there soon enough. And we also have this area for a habitat as well. Excuse me for 1 second while I cough. Alright, I coughed. Hope you guys are okay with that. But over here, we actually have our chimpanzee habitat. This was the last one that we actually saw. And this was the video where I was like, you know what? We haven't really had a tour yet. I want to do a little bit of a tour. But I do need to thank our good friend Caesar Creates for those beautiful, beautiful climbing frames. They came out so well. And we even have our own custom one right there. You guys are free to go into this build and blueprint it for yourself. This is really fun to make, and it's kind of based off of a radio tower kind of thing. But we could actually plop ourselves in here and see our chimpanzee family. I included some babies as well because they're just so cute. How could I not include them? They don't really climb the structure all that much. They do just like to hop around. But that's pretty much it for these guys. I really do love this habitat though. It came out so well. And while the video isn't out just yet, I hope you guys enjoy it all the same. It was really fun to build, and look at them go. They're just having a nice little time. And we can kind of plop ourselves right back up over here. And I gotta think of where else we need to go. I think we could actually make our way over here towards our otters. And I will kind of plop ourselves off the beaten path so we could actually work our way back to another area of which we've came from. So over here is our North American river otter exhibit. I have in the lore that it was originally made for giant otters, but unfortunately we did kind of lose them, so that is kind of what's built inside the lore. I gotta thank my buddy Forge for these shade structures as well. They came out exceptionally well, and they worked really well for this habitat over here. I think I may carry over this kind of like modern idea through like the habitats in this area. I'm not really sure of what I will be building later down the line when I do use these, but I think it will be pretty fun. And I will actually lower these guys really quickly right down here, so just forgive me for, actually no, we can do that later. Why do that now? But yeah, this is our first view into our river otter exhibit. It's nothing crazy. We have a couple views in here, but this is much more of a lower water kind of one, so you could kind of see them playing right over here. But we do have another view down there in the actual splash pad, so we could check that out in a little bit. You guys may start to notice that the building over there is exceptionally big. That's because I want to have this be a breeding facility for the otters, so do keep that in mind. But this is like the big old splash pad. I really want to have a nice big playground for the kids to play in, because that's something that a lot of zoos have. But I did want to include this building over here, as well as a viewing structure into our river otter exhibit. You can see them start to swim around right there. That's so cool. They're such cute little creatures. I'm so happy with how well this like viewing came out. It just feels so cool and feels so themed. And I feel like I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with that for Riverbend. I know Riverbend hasn't exactly been like the sexiest build ever, but I'm pretty happy with how well this entire area came out, especially with all the decals down there. I kind of made it feel like it's a little bit sandy. And I don't know, I just really do like that. It came out so well. But moving on through here, we have a lot of other awesome things to check out, especially back over here. I'm going to make our way over here. This is pretty much the last part of Riverbend that I want to show off. Another pretzel stand by Zizi. Amazing work, buddy. But we have our Budgie and like Lorikeet Aviary right in here. You can see all of these come out over here. I think these were made by Drac. But these guys are so nice, and they fill out such beautiful areas. We do have some of Jaguar's aviary enrichment right there. He's a wonderful ZSU creator. And we also have a bunch of custom plants by ZZ as well. But it's just a really nice area just to come in and, like, you know, feed the budgies and whatnot. I do apologize. I still do need to add that, like, heating area that some people have recommended, because budgies do get very cold very quickly. And I want to make sure that they do have enough areas for them to actually stay warm and stay alive, actually. But these guys have quite a beautiful little habitat over here. Lots of climbing areas for them to kind of perch themselves on. And this would be kind of like a place where you could buy some of those feeding sticks and whatnot for you to, like, feed the little guys. And I don't know, I'm just very happy with how well it came out. It feels so nice in here. And yeah, I just really want to reuse this aviary, because we did actually build that for our binturongs over here. So this is quite a big area for binturongs, but I'm pretty happy with it because they do make some incredible use out of their exhibit. I just gotta find them in here first and foremost, and you can see them start to make their way through here. Binturongs are some of my favorite animals, and they're just so adorable. But I'm so happy that we were able to get these guys in here, because they, again, are one of my favorite animals. And they have such a beautiful little habitat in here. Look at them go. I don't know, they're just so cute. And when they actually do climb, because we know how Frontier is with their animals, they don't really like to climb all that much. But when they actually do climb, it's so cool to see how they make use of their habitat. They're just so adorable. But that's pretty much it for all of Riverbend so far. I do appreciate you guys being along for this entire journey. It really is amazing just to see how far this zoo came from just one measly little idea right over here. Like, just to imagine that we started off with that and how we're already all the way out here. It's so crazy to just see how far the zoo has come. But anyways, I think we're going to end it with the flamingos. If you guys have any recommendations on what to add in Riverbend, definitely do let me know. I've seen some requests for servals and caracals, and I think that would be a wonderful thing to include as well. I think we're going to end it with this shot right here. Hold on. Yeah, that's the money shot right there. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoy Riverbend. That is now officially on the workshop. Hope you guys enjoy it. Make sure you have all the mods installed. Otherwise, they won't show up. But we don't have anything in the trade center, so you guys should be able to load into it just fine, even if you don't use mods. But all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Take care and have the most wonderful of wonderful days. Bye-bye now.